Okay.
And so then they finally turn over the body after going crazy with us.
Mm-hmm.
And the funeral director there, a real nice guy, he set up a little room just for me and Peter. And that was when I saw John. That was
Wow.
that was when I was able to hold his hand and touch him, hold
Mm-hmm.
his hand, comb his hair. And then Peter and I went and we bought one of those cheap suits in Marshalls because we wanted to give him the dignity. They gave him to us in a body bag. Yeah. In a
Really?
black body bag. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. They would they
Just got
wouldn't
the guy.
they wouldn't allow us to put him in a coffin to take him home.
What could really be the reason for all of that too? Just to make, I mean, I
They're
don't understand.
animals. They're
Yeah,
animals.
animals.
They're
Yeah.
dogs. They're
Yeah.
dogs. So Peter and I dress him. Uh, if you had a son, you'd want Peter Gotti. That's the kind of son he was. Asked
Wow.
for nothing, just totally committed and devoted to his father. And his father loved him. You know,
Really?
if there was ever a favorite, it was Peter. He loved that kid like you could never love a son. Peter was one in a million. You couldn't find anybody like him. And so then the government says you can't fly him home unless you have the undertaker here. So first they wouldn't give us a coffin, never told us. After I had multiple conversations with Warden Hedrick, no coffin, in a body bag. Then, um, so then I have to fly down from Papavera Funeral Parlor, Joe Papavera, have to put him on a private jet and bring him down. And we have to fly him home on an air ambulance, not a regular private jet, an air ambulance. So we had to get this Learjet, and it was so small. It was like, we were like a bullet in the sky. And Peter and I'm not a great flyer. Peter's not a great flyer, and John hated flying, but we had no choice.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Papavero there, Peter and I, and we have John in the body bag, and Peter, who will verify this, because Peter Gotti's not a liar and doesn't take orders from his brother or Dumbo, his sister, Angel. That's her name, Dumbo. She wants to talk about. I want to talk about my brother John. Your brother John? There'd be no brother John if it wasn't for your father. Who would know? Who would care about John Jr.? Tell me, you know
Nobody.
anybody?
Yeah. Nobody.
It's
Yeah.
all about John Sr. I mean, let's get real here.
Yeah.
So we're on the plane, and Peter knew the love that John had for me. Peter says, "You put the body bag on your lap, his head on your lap." I flew home with John Gotti's head on my lap.
Wow. Wow.
I don't care who believes me, who doesn't. On my hand to God and on my kids, his head was on my lap.
Wow.
And Peter will verify that.
Wow.
So, how close was I to John? Does that tell you, Joe?
Yeah, absolutely.
Does that tell you,
100%.
Joe? And who delivered the eulogy? Does that tell you, Joe? Who made the funeral? Who
Right.
stole the money? His brother Richie stole the money for the funeral. Who paid for the funeral? Me.
You did. Yeah,
That's
you
right.
did.
That's
Yep.
right. And I didn't care. I was happy to do it. I was in the crypt. I made sure his head and Frankie's head were head to head. Me, Louis Kasman. I made sure of that. I
Wow.
took care of that.
Yeah,
John Jr. was incarcerated at the time in Raybrook, and he wouldn't ask for permission because he felt they were going to deny him. Why don't you ask? Get denied. But he wouldn't ask for whatever his reasons were. I don't know. But I was in the crypt, and I put them head to head.
Wow. That was really nice of you.
That's
Yeah,
what he
that really
wanted,
was. Yeah.
and I made sure of that. And
Wow.
that's how that crypt is. Anyone that goes in there, which no one can, but you ask anybody that knows, they'll tell you. With his brother Richie screaming in the background, "That Jew bastard!" That like a real low life. I wish Jeannie was out then. Jeannie would have cut his fucking head off.
Yeah.
Jeannie would
I
have
met
cut
Gene
Richie's
once.
fucking head off. And I
Yeah.
hope to this day, Jeannie has nothing to do with Richie. I hope
Wow.
to this day
Yeah, because he's been home now, Gene, for a while, I think, right? A couple of
Yeah,
years, maybe?
yeah. And I'll tell you something, so everybody knows this. John Gotti had a regret. John Gotti was mad that he didn't let Jeannie take the 5-year plea. So if anybody's listening to this, or if anybody knows Jeannie Gotti, you let him know that his brother was remorseful. His brother said to me, I don't know how many times, I should have let him take that deal. I should have let him take that plea. But that was the old school John thinking.
Yeah. We
And,
all make mistakes.
if he takes that plea, he's out. There's no Gravano. There's no garbage pail named Gravano. Remember, all John's closest people, Angelo, Jeannie, all of them, they're all gone.
Yeah. Wow.
That's how this abortion, because Gravano was an abortion, that's how an abortion like Gravano comes into play.
There's a couple of stories out there about him. He's not a full heterosexual type of a person, they said.
Well, he had a brother-in-law, Nick Cicale, if I'm saying it right. And the rumor was, and it was confirmed, that he was involved in an affair with his brother-in-law.
And it was confirmed.
It was confirmed.
Wow.
And his brother-in-law was Debbie's brother, his wife. And this was the rumors. But it wasn't rumors, because what happened was Sammy killed his brother-in-law because he was afraid that Nick was going to out him. But he was already outed. And he killed Nick, chopped him up, and buried him in his own backyard. And one day on Staten Island, they were having a barbecue in Sammy's backyard. And Sammy had dogs. And the dogs were digging in the backyard.
Oh, boy.
And they dug up one of the brother's arms.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's a true story. Anybody in the mob knows this. That's a true story.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So the truth be told, if John doesn't get arrested, Sammy's gone. Tommy Gambino is number 2 or number 3. And Sammy is in the ocean swimming with the fishes where he should have been, because that was the plan. And unfortunately, it doesn't happen that way. But listeners, viewers, John knew for a long time Sammy was a lowlife and a garbage pail. He didn't fool nobody. You weren't fooling John Gotti.
No.
You aren't fooling this man. This man, if he asked you a question, he knew the answer to that question.
He just wanted to see if you knew it.
Right. He just wanted to see if you knew it. No one was fooling or getting over on John Gotti.
Nah. God bless him, man.
You don't take out a boss and all these captains fall into line in 24 hours.
No.
I mean, come on.
Listen, let's hope he's in a better place.
I hope so. He's not in pain anymore.
That's the most important thing. And he beat the government out of the time, too.
Exactly. And he's with Frankie. And that's where he wanted.
Yes. Yeah.
And he's with Frankie.
He loved Frankie.
That was a tragedy, and my mother had a tragedy like that. We lost, my mother lost my brother, Scott.
Sorry to hear that.
And so I don't know John's pain, but my mother knew John's pain, because when my mother and him would talk, that's what they would talk about, their pain.
Wow.
I thank God I never lost a child, but the loss of a child is pain that you can never understand.
No, unless it happened to you.
But John is buried head to head with Frankie, and that's what he wanted, and that's what I made happen, and that's what I physically did in the crypt.